comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Here comes the. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. E-double-L. I said so. I keep big bills up in my hood on the dirty like Blitz. So ain't got no twist in my head, but I'm still dreadful. And I got plenty of bread, so I go to bed full. I'm in it to win it, I'm all in. I might call you my cuz, young blood, but we ain't kin. You think of jumping, man, you best think again. The dirty, I'm the type of man that might go broke for revenge. Have some not so nice friends, kick the door off the hinge, take the door off your bins, pop up my four of your friends. Man, please, this shit ain't cynical. Man, no, you ain't built for a spirit as a nigga can be. It's gonna sound like when I'm coming, when I'm coming, when I'm coming for ya. It's gonna sound like when I'm coming, when I'm coming, when I come for ya. It's gonna sound like here comes the, here comes the, here comes the, here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that.
What up, what up, what up, football fans? Welcome to another episode of the Blitz, brought to you by Game Changers Media. I'm Big C, and y'all know the co-host, Mike Jones. What up, Mikey?
What up, man? Thanks for having me here. Happy to be here on episode 36 of the Blitz, Monday, day away from Christmas Eve. And we had some pretty fun games. Had some pretty good games, so we'll get talking about that shortly.
Yeah, happy holidays to everybody out there. Hope everybody has a wonderful Christmas or a happy Hanukkah or whatever particular holiday y'all like to rock out with. Whatever your religious preference. Monday morning. A lot of stuff was going down with the NFL. A lot of things to talk about as the playoffs creep closer and closer. Couple surprises yesterday. I know that some of the league's favorites didn't look quite as what's the word I'm looking for? They didn't look as quite as immortal as what they had been. You know what I mean? Like some of these teams have looked unstoppable in recent weeks, and yesterday I feel like it showed that when the playoffs get here, it really can be anybody's show. So, what did you take from yesterday's games?
Oh man, you know,
Anyone that sticked out in particular to you?
uh, honestly, the Cowboys game and Bucks. I wasn't expecting it to. I was expecting the Cowboys to play as well as they did, and I sure as heck wasn't expecting Tampa to drop out of the number one spot. So that's
Yeah,
the biggest.
that was definitely a shocker there. I mean, Tampa Tampa held its own destiny in its own hands, and they came from multiple games down, missing their star receivers to overtake the Atlanta Falcons, and it just seems like they gave it right back with a loss that shouldn't probably have happened to a underperforming Dallas Cowboys team with a backup quarterback.
Absolutely, that was the biggest thing. We talked Baker up quite well. He didn't have a terrible game, but I the game's on the line. They played in close games all year, and I don't know. It just wasn't what I was expecting from Tampa Bay. I mean, everybody has an off week, but kind of a bad time to start having an off week. They're right there on that bubble. So
Yeah, I took a look at his stats, and he didn't have a bad game. So, I mean, what was he? It was 31 of 43 for 303 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. I mean, he didn't have a bad game, but he didn't have that game that push him over the top. When Dallas jumped out to a lead, you expect him to become superhuman like a lot of these other quarterbacks do for the league's best teams. I mean, most of the league's best teams have that in common. They got that quarterback that can come out there and when it's needed almost become superhuman, and I don't feel like he did that for his team last night, and now Atlanta's back in the race for the division, and it might cost Tampa a playoff spot.
absolutely, absolutely. What'd you think of Penix and how Atlanta performed? I mean, granted, it was against the Giants, but
Yeah, it's hard to really weigh how he performed when I mean the New York Giants are looking they're not even in this year anymore. You know what I mean? They're not thinking about winning football games. They're thinking about vacation plans. They're thinking about recovering from injuries. They're thinking about if they're making this team next year, what teams might be available for them to make. The coaching staffs got their heads thinking about, listen, am I going to be preparing for a draft or am I going to be searching for a new job? You know what I mean? So it's hard to gauge where Michael Penix performed, but I mean he didn't look bad. I guess that's a pop. Your first start, I mean, I'd say he did all right in his first start.
yeah.
I'd
I mean,
definitely be okay with it.
I mean, it definitely helps that his first game was against the worst team in the NFL. So, oh
Yeah, I
come on,
mean
no
that's
Jack.
how help booster your performance.
Our Shador Sanders, looking closer and closer.
Yeah, absolutely. With the Vegas win yesterday, I mean, the Giants are sailing right towards that first overall pick, and they're going to have their pick of the draft, and it just depends on what they prefer in the draft. Is there going to be a new general manager? Who's going to be the coach? Who's the coach going to prefer? You know what I mean?
Yep.
So the Giants are a very interesting team. I'm I think it's an exciting time to be a Giants fan. I know it might be hard to believe or hard to see it right now because of the way that they're playing and their record, but changes are coming. Big changes are coming, so you have to be excited about that. Would you go back to Kirk Cousins or would you stay with Michael Penix if you were Atlanta? Because I mean, Michael Penix didn't blow the doors off anybody yesterday, and you were playing the Giants. You kind of expect him to, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? He didn't
Yeah,
have any passing touchdowns. He had an interception.
yeah, and 202 yards, 66 completion percentage. I don't know. They're in a tough spot, you know. Number one, it was hard enough to take Kirk Cousins out, regardless of how bad his last 5 games have been. But to put a new guy in there and you're fighting for a playoff spot, I don't know. I still think, in my opinion, I'd go with experience, you know, and then you got to kind of believe in Cousins to man up and be a veteran. You can't expect any of that from Penix right now. So, you know, mm, uh, I think I would go veteran. I definitely would say that I would I feel like we had a better opportunity with a veteran in there, regardless of everybody goes through a few bad games. Everybody has bad stints. And, you're taking him out. It's just is pretty much saying that, oh, you think that he's not going to play well again. And I think that's nonsense. The guy played really well for the first 9 games of the season. So, um, I think actually switching to him was a bad choice, but it worked out for him. But I still think that going for a playoff push, you need to have a veteran in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's hard to gauge whether it really worked out because I think if Kirk Cousins started yesterday, he probably would have performed better than Michael Penix.
Yeah.
I mean, they would have probably still gotten the win. I have confidence in that. I feel like it was a mistake too. I feel like this could have been a get right game for Kirk Cousins. Get him out of that turnover mindset. He's had a lot of turnovers, and I understand that it's not all right, and they were getting frustrated with it. But this could have been his get right game. You had a very bad New York Giants football team. Kirk Cousins could have came in there and threw for 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. You know what I mean? And he could have got his mojo back, his confidence. So I think it was a mistake. I don't think Michael Penix gives you the better chance to win, especially fighting for a division title. Kirk Cousins has been here. Michael Penix is a rookie. And I can't believe that he's gotten a lot of practice time with the number one receivers on this team. You know what I mean? So he's still getting used to them as Kirk Cousins had all off season, most of this season. So I think it's a mistake, but they're in the lead in the division right now. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Another game that I mean, I'm gonna hold it with a grain of salt because the starting quarterback got hurt, but the Philadelphia Eagles losing to the Commanders. Now, don't get me wrong. The Commanders are a good team. I don't think anybody questions that. But I think everybody and their mother thought that Philly is one of the top 2-3 teams in this league. And there are a lot of people's Super Bowl favorites. So for Washington to come out and steal the victory from them is a little surprising. I mean, Jalen Hurts did go out with a concussion. You had Kenny Pickett come in. Kenny Pickett's not Jalen Hurts. They definitely switched their style of play once Kenny Pickett came in. There was times that I feel like they would have went for it on 4th and 2 that they didn't go with it with Kenny Pickett and with Jalen Hurts. Of course, you were going with the tush push. So it definitely threw off everything. Saquon Barkley started out like a ball of fire yesterday. I think he had over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. He only ended up finishing with 150 and 2 touchdowns. And yeah, only 150. Well, I mean, if you rush for 100 the first quarter, you would expect more than 50 the rest of the other 3 quarters. So he had a very pedestrian rest of the game.
Yeah.
And they kept him in check pretty good. So not only did Philly lose that game to Washington, but they also cost me $5,000 because I gave Washington 2.5 points. And we had to win. I had to win. Philly went down, kicked a field goal, and I was like, damn, you know, I'm only up. What was the score? They scored 6. So they were only up. I was down 0.5 or something, I think, and Washington got the ball, ran a couple plays. Then Jaden Daniels throws the pick and Philly kicks another field goal. So now I'm in the green, baby. $5,000 in the green. And then they just let Washington drive down the field. And I feel like that's very concerning. Like you can make excuses for the offense and Jalen Hurts not being out, but to let Washington drive down the field with the game on the line, 1 timeout, a minute and some change left, I'd be a little concerned with that. Is your defense not going to show up when it's crunch time? Are they not going to be able to stop these better teams in the NFL when they need to stop? Because they couldn't get it done yesterday. And it might end up costing them a first round bye, the number 1 seed in the playoffs. So, I mean, there was a couple games that yesterday the Buffalo Bills I felt underperformed. Who else? I feel like Minnesota kind of underperformed a little bit. They were playing a playoff team, well, a fringe playoff team in Seattle, but I expected them to beat Seattle by a little bit more. But yeah, they came out with the victory, blah, blah, blah. But I just feel like Minnesota, as one of the top teams in the NFC, one of the top teams in the NFL, should have maybe did a little more. You know what I mean? What other games sticking out to me? The Ravens finally get the revenge on Pittsburgh. That was a huge game. Lamar Jackson, you know, it's almost a foregone conclusion that Josh Allen is going to get the MVP. But I feel like they're almost people are giving Josh Allen the MVP because they feel bad for him. And it's not that it's not justified for Josh Allen to be an MVP. But is he playing better than Lamar Jackson? Does he have better stats than Lamar Jackson? I don't think he does. But I think a lot of people are like, well, Lamar's already got to. Let Josh get his. You know what I mean? And I don't think that's the correct way to go about it. If Lamar Jackson is the MVP, he's the MVP.
Right.
This isn't a participation. Oh, you've been up there a couple times, you deserve it. No, that's not how it works. And well, that's not how it should work. So we shall see. But it's Monday, and you know what Monday is. Overreaction Monday. Overreaction Monday is where Mike comes up with a few topics from around the NFL, hot topics, news, notes, and we shoot them out there, and we see if they're justified or if it's an overreaction, you know, just people jumping out the window thinking that something is more real than it is. So let's get to it.
All right. Well, we were talking MVP, so let's go with this one. Goff should be serious contender for MVP.
Oh, Jared Goff and MVP. The Detroit Lions are one of the best teams in the NFL. Jared Goff is the quarterback for that team. I mean, usually the quarterback of one of the best team in the NFL is up there. I mean, we've seen it with Super Bowls. Oh, the quarterback, give him the award. Quarterbacks get all the credit, but they also take a lot of the heat when things go bad. Jared Goff's stats this year, he's over 4,000 yards passing, 33 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 112 quarterback rating. Yeah, I mean, he should be in the conversation. He should be in the conversation, the way he's throwing the ball, the way he's leading this team. I think what hurts Josh Allen, though, or not Josh Allen, Jesus. What hurts Jared Goff's chances at an MVP is this age of dual threat quarterbacks. Because that's the one area that Jared Goff can't compete with the other top candidates. He can't compete with Jalen Hurts rushing yards. He can't compete with Josh Allen's rushing. He can't compete with Lamar Jackson's rushing. So should he be mentioned? Yeah, absolutely. You should. He definitely deserves his flowers. He definitely deserves to be recognized as one of the league's best. But is he a serious contender for the MVP? Not in this day and age, because we got these super athletes that they're putting up great quarterback numbers, but they're also putting up top running back numbers, or at least running back 2 numbers. You got people with 600-700 yards rushing and 10 touchdowns added on to their 35 touchdown passes. And Jared Goff just doesn't have that. I mean, what's Jalen Hurts got? 13 rushing touchdowns. Josh Allen's probably got 600-700 yards rushing with 6-7 touchdowns, and Lamar Jackson probably close to 1,000 yards and the same amount of touch. I mean, you just can't compete with that. So should he be mentioned? Yeah. Is he a serious contender? He's just not one of them dual threats. He's not one of them super athletes.
Fair enough. That's kind of where I was too, but it's just hard not to throw a guy in there that has good stats, and like you said, if he could make up for it with the rushing and stuff, it would be a lot different. But yeah, I think that you're right. That's what separates him.
Yeah, I mean, if you were just going by throwing the football around the yard, I mean, absolutely, 33 touchdowns, 112 quarterback rating.
Right.
That's some of the best passing numbers in the league. It's just if you don't got running back stats too, I mean, you're going to be left out in the cold.
Yep. All right. Let's go with the next one. Vikings are the best team in the NFL.
Oh man.
The
Minnesota Vikings are one of the best teams in the NFL. Is that overreaction to say the Minnesota Vikings are the best team in the NFL? I don't think it's an overreaction, because everybody's going to have their opinion. I mean, they have one of the best records in the NFL. They got a top defense. The offense is playing lights out. So I wouldn't say it's an overreaction to say they're the best team in the NFL. But I think there's numerous teams that you could get away saying that about. I think you could get away saying that about Detroit. I think you get away saying that about Kansas City. I think you get away with saying that about the Buffalo Bills.
Right.
And then even like the Ravens, Pittsburgh, and Green Bay. I think there's a lot of teams that you could legitly say are the best team in the NFL. And I think it changes. I think people's opinion changes weekly.
Right.
I mean, people remember what they seen most recent. And if they played good football recently and another team like the Buffalo Bills last week, everybody was probably saying they were the best team in the NFL. They beat the Detroit Lions.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? This week, they almost fell victim to the Patriots.
Right.
So people's opinion has fallen on them just for this week. If Buffalo comes out next week and destroys their opponent, Buffalo's back up there as the best team in the NFL. You know what I mean? That's just the society that we live in, and it is what it is. I mean, like I said, it's not a. I wouldn't say it's an overreaction. I think it's justified, but there's other teams that can be
Absolutely.
up there too.
Absolutely. Minnesota, an 8-game streak. They're playing good football and they're pretty healthy. A lot of these teams they have a little bit of injury problems. So, I mean, that's one thing they got going for them. And Jefferson and is just out of this world. So, yeah, I'd have to agree with that. You can't really say they're the best team because that's an opinion. And a lot of teams can be considered the best team right now. I mean, a few weeks ago it was all Detroit, and then went from Detroit, and then I was on Philly, and now I'm saying Vikings are right up there. So, and I can't really say for sure. It all depends on how Jalen's concussion turns out, but we'll talk about that a different time. All right, I'm gonna give you a kind of a silly one. Michael Penix Jr. will lead Atlanta to the playoffs.
I think that's an overreaction. I think
Okay.
the sample size is too small. I don't think Atlanta's a better team than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't think that Michael Penix is a better quarterback at this stage in his career than Kirk Cousins. So I think they're making a mistake. I would say overreaction. I mean, he didn't look great yesterday, and they played arguably the worst team in the NFL.
Yeah.
So how are you going to have confidence that he can lead you to the playoffs, especially when you're like I said, I feel Tampa Bay is the better team. They got a hell of a game coming up against the Commanders. I don't see them winning that game.
Mm-hmm.
The Commanders just beat Philly.
Yep.
I don't think Michael Penix has a shot of going in and beating the Commanders.
Right.
I just don't see it.
And
Would I feel more confident if Atlanta was starting Kirk Cousins against the Commanders? Absolutely. So I think that's a big overreaction. They got the Commanders, then they got the Panthers, who are an improved team. This team went from being a laughing stock. Bryce Young on his way out the door. Many considered the worst first overall pick in NFL history. What he's performing great now. They're talking about him being the future of the franchise. So, yeah, I'm going to say that this is definitely an overreaction. Tampa Bay have the Panthers left and the Saints left. I think they can. I mean, the Panthers are improved, but I think they can handle the Panthers, and the Saints aren't very good neither. So, I definitely like Tampa's schedule more than I do Atlanta's, and Baker's playing better than Michael Penix and Kirk Cousins. So, I think Tampa makes the playoffs in that division.
Yeah, I mean, like you touched on it earlier, it just this late in the season to make that switch when you still have playoff chances, like legit ones. I think that was a bad idea, and you could have had this play in the Giants. Kirk Cousins could have got that game he needed to get that confidence back, and you definitely want Kirk Cousins over Penix right now. Now, if you're starting Penix from the beginning of the season, then you kind of know what could happen. You know that it could be a bad season. You might not make the playoffs, but you're trying to develop the guy. And just, I don't know. I won't agree with that at the end of this time of the year to sit there and make that big of a switch when you have a veteran like Kirk Cousins that has all the football knowledge that you could ask for in the playoffs. So, yeah, I think they definitely are going to give that up to Tampa Bay too. All right. Here's a fun one for you. I know how much. Oh, here's a fun one for you. I know how much you like Buffalo. Buffalo's still destined to fall in the playoffs.
I'm not going to say it's an overreaction. If I've seen the same movie over and over and over, why would I expect the outcome to change? If you've never done what you're saying you're going to do, why would I believe it? It's kind of like my Miami Dolphins. There's a narrative around them that they can't win in cold weather. They can't beat the good teams. They can't win in December like that. Well, we never do, so why would I think that they're going to do something different until they prove to me? Now, the Buffalo Bills beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the regular season. They did. They absolutely did. But again, Josh Allen has a winning record against Patrick Mahomes in the regular season. It's them playoffs. The playoffs, baby. Patrick Mahomes turns into a different animal. And I don't believe Josh Allen can roll up into Arrowhead Stadium and beat the best quarterback in this league. I don't believe it. You're going to have proof to me. The Kansas City Chiefs passing game looked a lot better yesterday. They got reinforcement. Hollywood Brown's back for them. Worthy looked really good yesterday. You got D-Hop, Kelsey. You got a two-headed monster in the backfield with Pacheco and Kareem Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got that quarterback that just makes magic happen. He's the magic man, baby.
Magic man.
He's like Magic Johnson back there, the way he makes them no-look passes where he just makes something out of nothing. He's amazing. Patrick Mahomes might be the greatest talent at the quarterback position we've ever seen. He's just amazing. That arm talent is out of this world, and
yeah, that sidearm is ridiculous.
I don't know if Josh Allen has it in him to go there and beat Kansas City and Arrowhead. If they could somehow steal the number 1 seed and get Pat to come to Buffalo, I would like their chances a whole lot better. And I could say this is an overreaction, but I've seen the story before, and I'm going to stick to it until the end of the book changes, and I haven't seen it yet. And not to mention, Josh Allen, like I said earlier, I don't even feel he's the MVP. You gotta see Lamar still,
Mm-hmm.
the real MVP. You heard it here. Lamar Jackson is the real MVP. In the way this Buffalo defense has been rocking out, you really want to tackle 250, 260-pound Derrick Henry when it's 2 degrees out? Come on, man. Good luck. Good luck.
Come on, man. Come on,
So
man.
I'm going to say this is not an overreaction. The Buffalo Bills have 0 Super Bowl titles. And I think
until they prove otherwise.
That stands still today. I don't think they're getting their first one this year.
Yep.
They're the champions of the regular season.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Bill fans.
Till we see a different ending to the book or movie, then I'd have to agree with that statement. Well, I was going to say the last AFC playoff spot will be decided week 18, but instead of doing that, I'll let you tackle both. Dolphins or Colts win out, and Denver loses last 2 and sneak into the playoffs. So either the Dolphins or Colts win out and sneak into the playoffs, and Denver drops 2.
I don't think this is an overreaction. The Denver Broncos have the Cincinnati Bengals and the Kansas City Chiefs left.
Mm-hmm.
I think Cincinnati beats them this week. And then it's all depending if Kansas City needs to win that final game to keep the number 1 seed in the playoffs. If Kansas City has to play their starters, I don't think Denver beats them. Which means I 100% believe that the Colts win out. They play Jacksonville and the New York Giants. Tell me which one of those teams is beating the Colts. I just don't see it. Richardson at the quarterback position has played way better. Jonathan Taylor had a huge game yesterday. I would love to say that it's my Miami Dolphins that are going to sneak in after their performance yesterday against the 49ers. But I don't think the Colts lose again this year, and I think it's a real possibility that the Denver Broncos drop both games and end up missing the playoffs. So don't be surprised if that first round game is Buffalo Bills and the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh man, yeah, that was the Colts played really well yesterday. Jonathan Taylor 218, 3 touchdowns, 7.5 average, a 70-yard long run. That was pretty crazy. I was not expecting that game to be quite like that. They ran the hell out of the ball yesterday.
Well, I thought they were going to cost me the 5 Gs because I gave Tennessee 10.5 points.
Mm-hmm.
And then before I know it, they're up 38-7. And I was like, what the hell? I couldn't believe it. And then I went and jumped in the shower, came back. It was 38-30. I was like, whoa, Tennessee saved me. And then the Eagles end up letting me down anyway. After all that, and Tennessee coming back.
I know. You thought the Philly one was a lock too. And then
yeah, especially when they kicked that extra field goal. When he threw that interception and they stopped him from getting a first down, Devontae Smith dropped an open pass. He was wide open, would have got the first down. They could have probably ran the clock out. They wouldn't even kick the field goal. But he dropped a wide open pass. They had to kick the field goal. I was like, it's destiny. He was wide open. This guy don't drop passes. So he kicks the field goal, and I'm like, all right, they're not going to go down and kick a field goal, so I'm safe there. They got to score the touchdown to get the win. I'm only giving them 2.5 points. I'm up 5.
Right.
And then here they come in. Absolutely ridiculous. This Philadelphia Eagles defense just lets them rock and roll all night, all over them.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I was disappointed in that. At first, Pickett looked like he was going to be able to, because Philly had a decent lead, and I was like, Pickett, all he's got to do is hand the ball off, maybe make a few passes here and there, and it still wasn't enough. So, like you said, it seemed like everybody started playing a little different. Saquon was running a little different, and that was, man, I was definitely rooting for the Eagles on that.
Well, the defense plays you different. The defense is going to play you different when Kenny Pickett's in there than when Jalen Hurts is in there. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Kenny Pickett. There's a reason that he was a first-round draft pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers just a few short years ago, and he's no longer there already.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is not a starting quarterback talent, and he showed why right there. You take one of the NFL's best franchises, and you had a lead too. You take one of the best franchises in the NFL with a lead, and you can't make things happen to win the game. So they better hope Jalen Hurts can stay healthy.
They should have picked up Daniel Jones for a backup.
So I mean, I'd have felt more comfortable.
I definitely would have too. Yeah, it was definitely a rough game. I don't know. That's all the questions I got for you today, Big C.
Yeah. We have Green Bay versus the Saints tonight. I think Green Bay handles their business. They're 14.5 point favorites. I don't see Green Bay is one of the better teams in the league. I think they take care of business. Yeah, we got football on Wednesday. Wednesday's Christmas. I hope everybody has a merry one. You know,
Yeah.
get all the gifts and stuff that you want. I gotta stop waiting to shop at the last minute because, man, first off, I went out in public today and that is an absolute nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think it was gonna be the way it used to be because so many people do their shopping online.
Right.
So I wasn't quite expecting the rush that I experienced. And it wasn't even really being in the stores that was overall bad. It was them parking lots, bro.
Yeah.
Like I pulling out and trying to get out one of these parking lots feels like you got sentenced to a prison sentence. It's like I'm gonna be here forever. Oh my god, how am I gonna do this?
Forever
You got
to
37 cars ahead of you, and 6 of them don't know how to drive and go when it's their turn. And then
5
you
of them.
got the other 8 assholes that fucking take their turn when it's not their turn. And oh man, it was not a fun experience.
Yeah. Oh man.
And
I'm
then
so
there's
happy.
nothing left in these stores. I went out and braved the conditions for nothing. I came home with nothing.
Came
I
home
had
with
to
frostbite.
order stuff from the stores.
Came home with frostbite.
Yeah,
It was
like there's
cool.
nothing. Like I didn't come home with a single gift for my wife, and like I'm sick now. You can't order nothing. It's too late. There's nothing at the stores. I had to order a pair of boots, and they're gonna get sent in the mail. That's not Christmassy. You know what I mean? Like I went and tried to get her some Nike hoodies. They didn't have none of any color that she didn't have. They had some gray ones, some black ones, some white ones. We got gray ones. We got black ones. I refused to buy a white one. And then they had an orange one. What we in jail? You know what I mean? The bright orange. What you a city worker? I ain't buying that shit.
For real. That's crazy. Yeah, I've
So,
been fortunate.
I came home with nothing.
Fortunately, I got most of my stuff done. So it was still busy when I went, like probably like 4 or 5 days ago. So I can only imagine how it was yesterday.
And
Ugh.
I think I gotta try to sneak out tomorrow because I came
Oh,
home with nothing today.
oh, you're done.
I mean, the wife checks out the podcast a little bit, so I can't say certain things on here, but one of the things I was trying to buy I can't find anywhere, which is absolutely crazy in my opinion. So, oh, I hope my wife loves me and can handle the fact that it's gonna be a blue Christmas, baby.
Stop it. Stop it.
Well, I mean, she got me like 8 gifts. I was like, dang, girl, like, I got you a gift certificate. What?
To Red Lobster.
That's it. What I do?
Got you a gift certificate to Denny's, and we ain't even got a Denny's no more.
Yeah. I wish we had a Perkins again. Perkins is so good.
For real.
When I was in Florida last year, I ordered that shit on DoorDash twice.
Oh man, I haven't
I
been
love
forever. I like that better than Old Country Buffet. Ugh.
Yeah, I don't really like the Old Country Buffet.
Nah, food sitting
But,
under some heat lamps. Ugh.
I mean, there's certain good buffets. Like, what's the other big chain one that we don't have one, but the big chain.
Is that like a Ponderosa or some junk?
No, we used to have Ponderosa. It's,
I won't lie though. Old Country Buffet, they did have some banging desserts though. I rocked out with the desserts.
it's a chain.
He said, "Best food chain, a chain."
Golden Corral.
Golden Corral.
Golden Corrals aren't bad. I've ate at one of those before. You know what's really banging is when we went to Vegas, we got the buffet there a lot. And I mean, it's like $50 a person, but these ain't buffets like you've ever seen around here, bro. They got filet mignon. They got the prime rib. They got everything.
Oh, it made
These
me
are,
hungry.
I mean, we stayed in a pretty nice hotel. We actually stayed in the hotel that guy shot up all the country singers from. Or
Oh yeah,
he was shot at the country singers concert.
yeah. That was oh yeah, I remember Eminem made a song about that too. That's
They had
crazy.
they actually closed off that room so nobody can ever stay in it again, and like put a wall there and shit. So I mean, there's a room on the other side of the wall, but nobody can't ever stay there, and people won't know there's a room there.
That's kind of creepy to know that it's still there though. I mean, I
Oh
wasn't
yeah, I
expecting
mean,
it to disappear, but maybe like a
yeah,
closet or something. But I guess blocking it off probably be the better choice. But that's kind of creepy. I wouldn't want to even
yeah.
be on that floor.
That's some like ghost hunter shit. Like you break down that wall someday and go in there and find a fucking magazine on the floor or something, like a spent bullet. Be
Big old
crazy.
big old blood puddle in the dried into the floor.
Well, yeah, they killed him in there, right?
I'm pretty
I'm
sure,
guessing
yeah.
probably. People are crazy though. Like, what makes you do something like that? Like, what makes you take so many guns and ammunition to a hotel and just start rocking people? You know what I mean? Like, that shit is. You gotta have some real mental health issues.
Exactly, man. If you ain't happy with your life, put it on somebody else, man.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
horrible. The amount of other families that kind of thing just you don't think about it, but everybody else they have family members and stuff like that. You're just sitting there instead of just doing yourself and you're sitting there ruining so many people's lives doing that kind of stuff. It's sad. Definitely
yeah,
don't like what we've been seeing a lot lately. Things have definitely gotten a lot crazier over the past 10 years or so.
yeah. The school shootings, even you can't get in a fist fight anymore. Like when we were kids, you'll get shot, and the world has turned into a very scary place, especially if you have children.
Mhm.
I mean, I was taught when I was younger, if someone does something to you, you know what I mean? You stand up for yourself and you fight back. You don't let someone bully you. You know what I mean? You use your fists. You know what I mean? You don't be violent for any reason, but you learn to protect yourself. And I can't go and teach my son to protect himself with the worry of someone pulling a gun and ending his life over a stupid disagreement.
Exactly.
I
Yep,
mean,
it's not
I had an 18-year-old kid get shot a few blocks from me, shot in the face and died over a motorized scooter. A motorized scooter. Like, come on, bro. You shot someone and killed them over a motorized scooter?
this is what it's come to, man. I don't understand it. It's scary. I definitely worry about the kids. I definitely worry about kids, man.
Sorry, we went a little bit depressing, off the wall, dark
Yeah, it's
place.
Christmas. Jingle bells, jingle bells,
Jingle bells.
giant smell.
It's
Oh,
Krampus.
dolphins laid an egg.
Hey, we played good. We played good this week.
You did play
We
good this
played a
week.
hella defensive game. Tua looked all right. Tyreek, there's something
Three.
wrong with it.
There was
There's
there
something
was
wrong
two
with Tyreek, man.
two touchdown drops he had, man, and then there was
Yeah.
another one. Like I was like, you don't expect that from him. I don't know what's
Yeah.
going on.
He's been off all year. Hopefully he can figure out his stuff in the off season because we're gonna definitely need we gotta be able to count on Tyreek and he hasn't been the same Tyreek this year.
Yeah,
But
that's the
there
thing.
I got some stuff to go over with the Dolphins on the Fin Posse podcast. We're gonna break down yesterday's game a little bit and I'm gonna tell you what yesterday's victory might have meant for us.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Victories don't always mean you win.
They don't. They don't. You're right.
Uh Wednesday, you want to do a show or have off for Christmas?
I don't think it would be bad if we had off for Christmas, but if I mean,
I mean, that's fine. It's Christmas.
all right, all right. You heard it here, folks. We got off Wednesday for Christmas. Yay. Which means we're going to have to come back with a big bad Friday pick'em this week then.
Yeah, we'll be here Friday. I'll probably bang something out Wednesday night on the Fin Posse podcast, just because my wife will be napping after dinner and stuff, and I won't have nothing else to do. So, but yeah,
I'm also in the process of my second episode of Gridiron Giants too. So if I can get to it, I'm going to try to get something out by Wednesday too. There's that Gridiron Giants podcast. Oh yeah.
All right. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Listen, we're giving away the $1,000 on the first. The $1,000 on the first. On my channel, the Fin Posse Podcast, I am 16 subs away from 500. If I get to 500 before the first, I will be giving away $2,000. 16 more subs, ladies and gentlemen. 16 more subs. We're going to have a double giveaway. The countdown's on. The countdown to 500. 16 more subs, baby. Let's get it. I want to give you my money.
Do it. Have yourself
remember to check out the Cash Apps. We appreciate all donations. We haven't yet gotten one. But
man.
We haven't gotten one yet, but we don't get no YouTube money. We don't get super chats. So anything you can shoot our way, we appreciate. It would go right back into the channel to upgrade our gear and let us give you guys a better experience.
Better fan experience.
So make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and share. 16 more subs. We'll have the double giveaway, $2,000 on the Fin Posse podcast. And we'll see you Friday. And you guys have a Merry Christmas or a Happy Hanukkah or a Happy Kwanzaa or
spin your dreidels.
Yeah, spin your dreidels. This is Yamaka, Hamaka, Lamaka. But anyway, y'all have a good one. And we'll see you Friday.
Love y'all.
Peace.
Peace. Peace.
Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like, yeah. Here comes the, no. Here comes the, oh. Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like, yeah. Here comes the, no. Here comes the, oh. Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like, E-double-L. I said so, I keep big bills up in my hood on the dirty like Blitz. So ain't got no twist in my head, but I'm still dreadful. And I got plenty of bread, so I go to bed full line. In it to win it, I'm all in. I might call you my cuz, young blood, but we ain't kin. You think of jumping, man, you best think again. The dirty, I'm the type of man that might go broke for revenge.